What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Another video today. We've got a hot topic brewing in the world of sports media, and it's about none other than Michael Jordan himself and another guy, but I'll mention that in a second. That's right. The GOAT is making a move back into the NBA spotlight, not as a player, but as a media figure on the NBC. And we know that. And let me tell you, fans have been waiting for this moment for decades. But hold on, before we get too excited, let's talk about what this actually means and why so many of us are holding our breath. Because let's be honest, if Michael Jordan is going to join the broadcast booth or be a special contributor, as NBC is calling it, he'd better come with the same intensity, honesty, and fire that made him the greatest basketball player of all time. Because if he doesn't, if he holds back, filters his words, and tries not to offend anyone, then this entire thing is going to be a complete waste of time for everybody. And let's be real, fans aren't here for a watered down Michael Jordan. We've seen enough of that with other former players turned analysts who come on TV and try to be everybody's friend. That's not what we want from MJ. We want the guy who torches defenses, demands excellence, and wasn't afraid to call out his teammates or his opponents when they didn't measure up. That's the MJ that fans love, and that's the MJ the NBA desperately needs right now, even though they might not know it. Now let's dive into what's going on. As we all know by now, Michael Jordan is officially joining NBC Sports next season as a special contributor. That's a big move. This is the same Michael Jordan who's been notoriously private since he retired from playing. We've all seen how selective he is about making public appearances. And let's not forget that the Last Dance documentary, while giving us an incredible look behind the scenes, also showed us just how intense and competitive MJ was, and still is. But here is where things get interesting. That's the guy. Stephen A. Smith, yeah, that's Stephen A., is out here claiming that he deserves a little bit of credit for this move. Apparently, Smith has been encouraging Jordan to go get more involved and start talking basketball publicly. On PBD Podcast, Smith said he told MJ, "Come on, man, stop acting like you have nothing to say about basketball now that you're retired. You talk about basketball all the damn time." Now that's vintage Stephen A. I could believe that. And Stephen A. has been talking for years that he had a relationship with Michael Jordan and they're texting back and forth and all of that. So could be. Now, always wanting to insert himself into the conversation. That's Stephen A. Now get a little of the spotlight. That's Stephen A. But hey, I'll give him this. He's not entirely wrong with what he says. Michael Jordan has always been a guy with strong opinions about the game. Even when he's not on camera, he's talking about basketball with people behind the scenes, texting analysts, and sharing his thoughts with former teammates. It's been said many times by many people. But here's the real question, and the one that's on every fan's mind right now. Will Michael Jordan actually be Michael Jordan on TV? Or will he tone it down and try to be Mr. Media Friendly? Because let's face it, we're living in an era where everything is scrutinized and everyone's worried about offending someone. That's not the Jordan we know. That's not the Jordan we want. The Jordan we know, who call out soft players, challenge today's stars to be better, and let the chips fall where they may. That's the MJ the NBA needs, a guy who will tell it like it is, no matter who's watching. And that brings me to my biggest concern. If Jordan joins NBC Sports and doesn't bring that same unfiltered honesty, it's going to be a major letdown, guys. Fans will feel like they've been sold a false bill of goods. Because let's be honest, we don't need another cookie cutter analyst who praises everybody and gives the same generic answers. We need Jordan to bring that same killer instinct he had on the court to the broadcast booth. Now, Stephen A. Smith says he's going to hold MJ accountable if he tries to be shy. Like anyone can hold MJ accountable. Yeah, right. And while that's an interesting dynamic, imagine Stephen A. in Jordan's ear telling him, "Hey, that ain't the MJ I know." I'm not sure how much influence he's really going to have. At the end of the day, Michael Jordan is his own man, and he doesn't need anyone telling him how to act. But let's not forget that fans are hungry for authenticity. Damn, that's why I'm here. Truth is truth, right? We've got young stars like Ja Morant, Anthony Edwards, and even international talents like Luka Doncic and Giannis Antetokounmpo carrying the league forward. And while they bring their own style to the game, there is a level of raw honesty that's often missing in today's media coverage. Everyone's so worried about branding and image that we rarely get to hear what these guys really think. So imagine Michael Jordan coming in and giving us an unfiltered take on today's NBA. Imagine him saying what fans are actually thinking, but the media is too afraid to say. That would be game-changing. Imagine Michael Jordan on NBC while, for example, the Lakers play someone and LeBron slacks off on defense and MJ says, "What's LeBron doing? If you love the game, you don't slack off like this." Can you imagine the headlines after that? The next day? Damn, that would be unbelievable. But let's get back to the big question. Will he really speak his mind? Because honestly, that's what fans want. We want to hear him talk about load management. We want to hear him talk about today's players taking nights off and coasting through games. We want him to talk about the difference between guys like Kobe Bryant, who'd play through a torn Achilles, and some of today's players who sit out because of load management. We want Jordan to talk about how the game has changed, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We want him to call out the nonsense and stand up for the spirit of competition. Because if there is one thing MJ knows, it's what it takes to win in the highest level. And let's be real. If Jordan comes on TV and starts sugarcoating things, it's going to feel like a betrayal. Fans are tired of polished PR statements and safe takes. We're tired of analysts who are too afraid to say what needs to be said. We want raw, we want real, honest, and we want Jordan. And think about this. When Stephen A. Smith says he's candid, I hope that's true. Because the moment Jordan starts being too nice, the fans are going to see right through it. And if NBC thinks they can just trot out Jordan in a suit and have him play nice, they're in for a rude awakening. Because fans will call that out in a second. And I don't think for a moment Jordan would allow himself to be used like that. This isn't just about basketball. It's about credibility. Michael Jordan has always been the standard bearer of excellence in the NBA. His 6 titles, his 6 finals MVPs, his relentless drive, those things define him. And that's what fans are counting on him to bring to the screen. If he's not willing to bring that, then maybe this whole experiment isn't worth to happen. Because let's be real, fans would rather remember Jordan as the guy who demanded the best from everyone, not as another smiling face in a suit reading off a teleprompter. And let's not forget that Jordan's entire brand is built on authenticity. The Air Jordan logo isn't just a symbol, it's a representation of excellence, dedication, and refusing to settle for anything less than greatness. That's what fans expect from him now. So Michael Jordan, if you're watching, and that would be awesome if he did, if anyone close to you is, please bring the real MJ to the screen. Don't hold back. Don't sugarcoat. Give us the honesty that made you the legend you are, because the NBA needs it now more than ever. That's it for today's show. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Michael Jordan will keep it real on NBC, or will he play it safe? And do you even want to hear his takes? Or is it just hype? Let's talk about it. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time on The Basketball Show, where the truth always comes first. I'll talk to you in the next one.